I told my sister that keeping her daughter helpless isn't love. My sister Gail doesn't let her daughter do anything on her own. Not because Ren can't, because Gail won't let her try. Ren is 13 and can't tie her shoes. Has never poured her own drink, doesn't know her home address. They call it sheltering. I call it something else. I found out how deep it went when Ren stayed with me for 5 days. Gail and her husband Keith had a family emergency out of state. I was the only option on short notice. Gail left me 3 pages of handwritten instructions. What Ren eats, when she sleeps, what she's not allowed to do. The not allowed list was longer than everything else combined. I should have read it more carefully. First night, Ren asked me to cut her chicken. She's 13. I handed her a knife and fork and told her to try. She held the knife backwards, not as a joke. She'd never used one. Her mom cuts all her food because knives are dangerous. Next morning, I told her to get dressed. 20 minutes later, she came out wearing her shirt inside out with the buttons misaligned. She asked me to fix it. I asked if she'd ever buttoned her own shirt. She said her mom lays out her clothes and helps her get dressed every morning. She's 13. I took her to the pharmacy to pick up a prescription. I told her to wait by the entrance while I went to the counter. When I came back, a stranger was kneeling in front of Ren, asking if she was lost. Ren was crying because she didn't know my phone number, her own address, or her last name spelling. She couldn't give a single piece of information to help anyone find me. I called Gail that night and asked if Ren had ever memorized her address or a phone number. Gail said she didn't need to because she's never alone. I said she was alone for 10 minutes today and couldn't identify herself. Gail said I was being dramatic. Day 3, Ren needed to use the bathroom at the library. She came out upset because she couldn't work the faucet. It was motion sensor. She'd never encountered one. She waved her hands under it for 2 minutes before someone helped her. Then she couldn't figure out the paper towel dispenser. That wasn't the worst part. Day 4, I took her to the park. She wanted to swing, but the only open one was next to another kid. I told her to go ask if they could take turns. She completely froze. She whispered that she didn't know how to talk to other kids. She'd never had a play date without her mom sitting next to her directing the conversation. Every social interaction she'd ever had was supervised and scripted by Gail. She sat on a bench and watched the other kids play for 40 minutes. That night, I called Gail and didn't hold back. I said, Ren can't feed herself, dress herself, talk to another child, or tell a stranger her own address. I said, this isn't protection. It's control, and it's going to break her. Gail cried, said I didn't understand how terrifying the world is, that she lost a friend's child to an accident years ago and swore she'd never let anything happen to Ren. I said she was so focused on keeping Ren safe from the world that she forgot to teach her how to exist in it. She called me cruel and hung up. She picked Ren up the next morning without looking at me. 2 months of silence. Then Gail called at 11 p.m. Ren had started 8th grade at a real school because the district required enrollment. Second week in, a group of older girls told Ren they were her best friends. They convinced her to hand over her lunch money every day for 2 weeks straight. Ren did it happily because she thought that's what friendship costs. She had no frame of reference for a normal interaction. A teacher finally noticed Ren sitting alone at lunch with nothing to eat. When they asked what happened, Ren couldn't explain it. She didn't have the language for being taken advantage of because nobody had ever taught her what healthy relationships look like. Gail was sobbing on the phone. She said I was right about everything. She asked me what she should do. I said start by letting Ren fail at small things so she doesn't get destroyed by big ones. Ren comes over on weekends now. I let her order food at the counter herself. She walks to the corner store alone. She's memorized my number, her mom's number, and her full home address. Last Saturday, she got into an argument with a kid at the park over whose turn it was on the swings. She held her ground and they worked it out themselves. Gail would have called that a problem. I called it the whole point.